Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pink and Channels, Connor Southwell. I'm delighted to be joined by former Norwich City defender Timm Klose. And Tim, it's lovely to see you first and foremost. But we're speaking less than 24 hours or so since you put out a post announcing your retirement. So it's a really nice time to catch up with you. And I think always the question for footballers is when they announce their retirement in football is, why was this moment the right moment for you? Is it one that you've sort of thought about for a long period of time before sort of announcing? Is it one that's come about quite quickly? Talk to us a little bit about sort of the decision to retire.
Well, I mean, I had the decision. Well, how can you say that in an easy way? I made that decision in the summer already, so I wanted to stop in the summer. And then FC Basel came to me and asked me if I could do another 6 months, just to help the young players to develop and just to stabilize the team and make sure that they're in a good position in the table, so we can force them a bit more and we can make sure that they develop in the right way. So for me, obviously, if a club like Basel comes up to me, it was not like a very difficult decision. So I said to myself, all right, I'm going to help you another 6 months. And now that we are actually quite solid, we're good in the table, I thought, this is the perfect time to just announce my retirement and let the young players play the game and see and help them to get through to the first team, and then maybe if they need more help throughout their career.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of your career, you must be incredibly proud of everything that you've achieved, playing Premier League football, obviously playing in the Bundesliga as well, in the Champions League, in the Europa League. I mean, when you started out, was it sort of beyond your wildest dreams where you've ended up, or how do you kind of reflect on the career that you have had?
No, I mean, obviously, when I started the whole journey or adventure, I never thought that it's going to be that successful. I mean, looking back, I think I played almost in the best, in the best two divisions or leagues in the world, and which makes me very proud, obviously. And then playing Champions League, Europa League, but also Championship. I mean, do not underestimate the quality of the Championship. I love to play there because it was so many games. You had not too many training sessions, which is good for a football player anyway. So, but again, I mean, I just loved it, and I never thought that my journey is going to be that successful. I mean, I had ups and downs. Don't get me wrong, but even the downs, they made me better as a person. They developed myself, and so I do really appreciate the whole journey. And I mean, of course, you don't like the times where it wasn't that great, but looking back now, I think those times were like the best times because they made me stronger. They made my character stronger and my personality as well.
And in terms of obviously the last 24 hours, I'm sure you've had loads of messages from different people, but I'm sure you've had loads from Norwich City fans in particular. And that sort of, I guess, speaks to the connection that you had with that fan base who took to you really from day one in terms of you as a character and as a player. You always enjoyed a really strong relationship with the supporters.
No, it's true. I mean, almost how much was it? Almost 7 or 8 years I stayed in Norwich, and then I mean, obviously, as you know, I always try to leave, or I try to do my best for the club and on and off the pitch, and that's why I think I had like such a connection to the fans and the club as well, because I thought it's important to combine those two things to make sure that we have like a strong base where wherever you go, fans are behind the team does everything for the fans, and I think I tried that on my own, obviously, but I also tried to give that to like new players who came from Germany or new players who came from I don't know somewhere else, and trying to integrate them fast and tell them what it's all about in Norwich and what it means to play for those colors. And on the other hand, I tried to I wasn't able to perform on my best all the time, but it's normal, I think. But what I asked for myself was like to give 100% every game, even though I'm not playing well. At least I leave my heart outside and give everything for the colors. And I think in the end, I would say the fans, they saw that, and that's why maybe we had that kind of a connection to each other.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny what you say in terms of, you know, your Norwich journey and your career. I'm sure it's been, as you said, full of ups and downs. And actually, it's sometimes in the low points when maybe there's an injury or the performances aren't quite great. They make those highs feel greater, don't they? And the fact you probably shared a lot of those with Norwich fans has probably made that connection what it is at the moment and as strong as it is.
Of course, I mean, as I said, like when we got back up to the Prem, I'm coming back into the team. I was captaining the team as well, which was like for me one of the biggest honors anyway. And then getting another injury and a long-term injury in that Premier League season as well. Well, it's like midway through, it was just like obviously devastating for me. But at the same time, I knew exactly that now I have to support the team. I need to support the club. I need to make sure that I know it's not going to be an easy season anyway, that where we won't win every game like the season before. But I mean, I had a new role and I liked it very much. And everyone at the club knew exactly. They can count on me, and all the fans, I think, knew exactly as well that if I'm back or if I come back, they can count on me as well, even though it wasn't as successful as we all wished.
And over the last 24 hours, I'm sure you've seen it a lot because I've seen it a lot since you made this announcement. That goal against Ipswich, and you know, there's often with players where they're remembered for individual moments or you know something that they've done. So the fact that you almost have that, and obviously, as you said, there were 127 other games I think that you played for Norwich City, and some of them would have contained really positive memories. But the fact that there's that one that fans can instantly go, right, Timm Klose at Ipswich, and there's always that connection. That must be really nice for you as well. I'm sure you've watched that goal plenty of times as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously that's a great memory, and that's something that sticks with the fans as well. And as you said, I received a lot of messages, and obviously, I would say 60% of those messages or even more was like they congratulated me, or they said like I always will remember the game against Ipswich. And well, you're not allowed to say the name anyway, so so they never said the name. But it's great. I mean, it's good to be remembered for positive things you did for the club, and that was always my goal. But obviously, the moment, the goal, the situation, and I mean, the whole season wasn't too great, and coming back in a game like this and scoring the equalizer in the 95th minute, and you know, with the whole, I mean, fan base in our back, and I remember Ipswich already. The fans, they already celebrated it as a win, and to destroy this, and I received the radio comment as well, which is it was fantastic, and those are the memories. Obviously, they stick with you forever.
And a Grant Hanley cross. I'm not sure he's produced one like that during his time at Norwich again, to be fair.
I pushed him to do this. You know, my flick on was so far away. I said, like, I screamed at Hanley to get there because he's actually the fastest player we had in the team, so I knew he's gonna get it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those rare moments where centre backs combine brilliantly, and that lots of Norwich fans speak with that with real fondness. But I mean, in terms of sort of the rest of your time from Norwich, what are the bits that you look at? And I'm sure obviously the promotion is a key part of this, but are there other sort of individual moments or games that really stand out to you and you sort of reflect on your time at Norwich or moments?
No, it's so difficult to take one game. I mean, like the first Premier League game, the first Premier League goal, then that crazy championship season we had with like crazy games where we came back from 3-0 down and stuff like that. And I mean, just the whole journey at Norwich was great for me. Like, you know, from being the guy who plays every game, almost like helped to survive in the Premier League, to then next season struggling in the Championship and being not sure if I'm going to stay or if I'm going to leave. And then from that moment on, I just stayed and said, I need to bring that club back up to the Prem. And with Daniel Farke and Stuart Webber, who obviously supported me throughout those years as well, and made me a better player and a person as well. I think I can't pick one or two situations because there were just too many to just say maybe like two or three are special. I think from day one, the whole journey at Norwich was special because I had such a great connection with everyone there, staff members, greenkeepers, at the stadium with the people, with the fans. I tried to. After every game, I tried to make one round where I applauded to everyone, and yeah, the whole situation was just great. I really felt home. I felt comfortable. I was like playing my best football, I would say, and yeah, it's great to look back at that time.
I guess that 18-19 season where, as you said, that first season under Daniel Farke, maybe similarly to how Norwich have started this year, where they're trying something a little bit new and it takes time to build. But that second season probably caught everyone by surprise. I think, I've spoken to Mario and a few of the other guys who say that maybe even caught the players by surprise just how successful it was. I mean, you must look back on that season as one of your best in terms of what you achieved, and like you said, in many senses, it must have been really personally enjoyable because of what you said about wanting to bring Norwich back to the Premier League and that determination you had to bring that club back to the top flight.
Yeah, and even if you look at the team back then, we never had like the best players in terms of like we brought them in for a big amount of money. I think we did a great job in the back, like Stuart and the scouting and Daniel, who brought in players who had the quality to survive the Championship, who all had to adapt to it, because that was I mean, more or less the first year was adapting to the Championship for the foreign players, and then the year afterwards was just great because we had not one player who was in particularly amazing. We had a few players, like the season before, obviously we had James Maddison, who was just like our outstanding player, and then the season afterwards we had Stipe, we had Tommy Tribal, we had Vrancic, who stepped up sometimes, we had myself, then Ben Godfrey came through the ranks, Emi Buendia, Max Aarons. So you see, like we were not like how do you say, we did not count on one player. It was like sometimes this player had a good part of the season, then the next player came in, so it was never like we needed one player to perform to get us there, because we all knew what it takes to stay up there and stay on top. And I think even when we had like 16 or 17 games unbeaten, that just shows you that we all played on our highest level, no matter who played, no matter which position. And I think that was the special thing about it. And that's why the team was so special, because everyone played on a great level and everyone made each other better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you still follow Norwich or how tuned into it you are, and obviously, like you say, you've been very busy with Basel, so understandably, maybe if you haven't, but that there does feel like quite a few similarities between where Norwich were in that period to where they are now, in terms of trying to build a slightly different way in terms of the playing style and the head coach, and going with younger players. Again, I'm sure, even from just what I've said there, that you can see sort of similarities between that squad that you were in compared to maybe where they are and what they're trying to do again now.
No, of course, I watched some games now this season, and I think you can see the kind of football we try to play. I think we shouldn't, but it's not down to me. I love that Jack is there now, Wilshire, who has a great understanding of the football, obviously, and played on the highest level in the Prem as well, who helps with his experience in English football, and then with the new ownership and everything. I mean, there is some sort of a security now where you can be almost a bit calm and concentrate on like the main thing, which is football, and trying to get those back up. But then at the same time, I think they gave us like the goal that they gave out the goal that they want to be back in the Prem in the next 3 years. So they put some pressure on them, which is understandable. With I think the money now there is around, they can do that. But obviously, I think they need this season. Even against Bristol, the game I watched the game, and it was okay. But at the same time, you saw that the counter-attack football of Bristol was then it was just deadly. And we had games where, if I go back now to our season before we got promoted, it was a bit the same. So we had like more possession of the game and everything, and then we lost it because we got counterattacked. And then Bristol reminded me a little bit on this season. So although I also wanted to congratulate Bristol as well, because I played there, and it was hard for me to watch it actually. But I mean, a draw would have been nice. But I think again, Naki, who scored the second one, is a good friend of mine as well, and I was delighted for him to score that goal. But the counterattacks were really deadly. And but all in all, the games they played so far, I think it was good, but they need to bring it over the line now, where I think they have like a really good standard, and now they need to make sure that this standard is for 90 minutes and not only like for, I don't know, 60 or periods of the game.
Final two then, before we let you go. I mean, you mentioned your friend Naki Wells. Another friend of yours, Christian Fassnacht, obviously a compatriot as well. Another Swiss player at Norwich as well. I think he's obviously had some injuries, and it's maybe not gone the way he would like in England. But just to Norwich fans, do you feel, and I'm sure you've seen it in close quarters, that there's more to come from him in England, and I'm sure he would expect more as well. I mean, just talk to us about the type of player that is there if Norwich can get him in form and get him into the type of positions that maybe he wants to be in.
You're talking about Christian now?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
He's the kind of player who never gives up normally. The guy who like runs until he can't run anymore, and he's like, technically he's not too bad, so he will produce something for you, and especially in front of the goal, he's quite like, he's a good finisher. He's a natural finisher normally, but sometimes injuries and confidence is like the key thing in football. If you're not confident enough to play your game, obviously that will stop you from being your best on the pitch. So I think he just needs to go out and play his football without like thinking too much what's going to happen and thinking too much what people are going to say, or even the gaffer or stuff like this, because I think he has a lot of qualities. Sometimes the season before we saw that quality, but then again it vanished again because of, I don't know, injuries or because he was not confident enough. And I think if he could gain that confidence back and play just without injuries, it's a bit similar to me. If you play and you're not getting injured, I think then obviously you get back to the level you wanted, and then the biggest and the hardest part is to stay on that level and keep producing every week. Every week you have to give assists, you give goals, you give something back to the club.
Just finally then, Tim, obviously when a player retires, the inevitable question it always is kind of what's next. So I mean, do you have a plan? Do you know, would you like to stay in the game? Is it exploring other things? Have you not quite decided? Where is your head sort of at in terms of what's next for you?
I decided long time ago. I made that well, as I said, I when I was at Bristol, even at Norwich, I studied sport management on the side. During that time, I finished that, and then when I was at Bristol, I started my coaching batches. I'm doing the I'm starting in 25. I'm going to start the UEFA Pro license with the FA, so I'm going to be in the UK quite a bit. And on the other hand, I'm doing like the defensive coordinator role and the talent manager role back here in Basel, which is also great because I can work with young players and help them to get through the ranks, obviously. And then on the side, I do have some other businesses who are some are on this. I have a biotech company who is just at the start, so I have to make sure that this works well, and then some other stuff with my parents. I do have like a business club with my mom and some real estate business going on with my dad. So I try to keep myself busy, but not too busy, so I can share a lot of time with my family as well. Because, as you know, I'm a family man. I love to have them around. I mean, like as I said, always my wife is my anchor, so she gives me a lot of power and energy, and obviously kids and dog and stuff like this as well.
Well, Timm, thank you very much, and obviously we wish you all the best in your retirement, and hopefully we'll see you at Carrow Road again soon.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I actually spoke to some of the lads and I said like I need to come back probably during the December or January time. I would love to come around and just watch one more game, yeah.
Good
Or then
man.
in the future.
We'll hopefully see you there.
All right. Thank you very much. Hope so too.
Thanks.